Howdy, howdy, fellow movie fans, and welcome back for another edition of the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast, brought to you by PTE Creative. As always, we are your hosts, Evan and Dylan Davies. We're going back to the big box office series today after we... This movie, I think, is going to be treated unfairly on this show. Simply because we are following what we both agree is one of the best movies of all time.
That's true, but there's a lot that I really love about this movie.
So, what movie are we covering in the big box office today, Dylan?
The last time, before we did all the anniversary specials, we did the random choice, and it landed on 2006, which is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Indeed. I will say this. I was pleasantly surprised when we turned to this movie. I was pleasantly surprised.
I mean, the first Curse of the Black Pearl is literally, it's on my top 100, like in the 50-ish range.
You love Curse of the Black Pearl. I like it a lot, don't get me wrong, I love that movie, but it's not, I don't hold it in the same regard that you do.
Yeah. So there's many aspects of this that I really love, simply because I like this franchise.
Yeah.
At least the first three.
It's really two separate franchises. It feels very much... This is the OG Transformers, where they make the first three, and they all slowly deteriorate in quality, but there's still at least something there that you're like, I at least had some fun, right?
Although, apparently they're making a sixth one now, because Orlando Bloom said let's get the gang back together. Well, don't know if that means all of them, or just some of them.
So, okay. Give us the box office, just for some context, and then let's jump into potential sequels before we go into Dead Man's Chest itself. So, 2006, what is our box office here?
So, this is also domestic only, $423 million.
Holy shit.
The next closest is Cars at $244 million. So, Pirates earned almost $200 million more than the next closest movie.
It almost doubled the movie that's in second place, and that is not a bad return for Cars either. This is not like one of those years where all of a sudden you're like, it's one movie and nothing else, and it tripled something. You're like, yeah, but that movie sucked. It's like no, because I remember we did classic Us. We grew up 2 hours and change south of Door County, Wisconsin. It's the thumb, for those that don't know the state of Wisconsin. And there's a awesome classic drive-in movie theater up there it's either Sister Bay or Egg Harbor, one of the two. And we did double feature night. It was you, me, our friend Stefan, who we brought camping with us, who had never been camping in his life. So he grew up Southside Chicago and then went up north for some camping in Door County. And our dad, and we did double feature of Cars and Dead Man's Chest, which was interesting to say the least.
Pirates of the Caribbean, the second one, is one of the few movies that I actually have memories of watching in the theater.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a little bit, but rounding out the top five, you got Cars, X-Men: The Last Stand, The Da Vinci Code, and Superman Returns. So, not a great year.
2006, I remember when we did the Oscars. 2006 was hard for me to pick a favorite because I was like, there's not a standout big... Yeah. Actually, that was a lie. 2006, it was obvious. It's because the box office doesn't reflect it. The best movie of the year by far for, I think, both of us is Casino Royale, but it comes out in November. So the box office doesn't reflect...
That's number 9.
Yeah, and if you add the 2007 January parts of it, I'm sure it would be higher as well.
Probably.
So, I mean, Bond was excellent that year. But that was, like, Casino Royale is the only movie to really talk about from 2006 in my mind. Mm-hmm. So, clearly...
It should also be noted, this randomly just came up, like, on a suggested Google article, that today, in 2003, was the day that Curse of the Black Pearl came out.
And we are recording the 10th of July. So... Yep. We had to fit this in between some time off and some flights and all kinds of stuff. So, had to get this one done. I'm glad we're doing an anniversary, sort of. We're doing a fun little family reunion-esque kind of thing. Unintended anniversary with the wrong movie, but it's still fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, I wanted you to give the box office number so we could really understand this. I think when the quality drops in this franchise is right at World's End ends in 2007. So this franchise ends, and it truly is shown to be an ending. Where
Yeah, so real quick, Curse of Black Pearl 305 million and then 309 million for At World's End. So this is the peak of Pirates.
I mean, I would assume there's a lot of franchises like it that they just go because people see the second one because they're excited about the follow-up to the first one. The second one's I'm like 2009 we're dreading because we have to watch Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And that's textbook Transformers up to Revenge of the Fallen, and everyone just goes, oh god.
That's true, yeah.
The reason I wanted you to give the box office is to understand why this franchise, like many others in the 21st century, will not die, regardless of how many people that are essential to it saying it should die.
Yes. It created an IP to Disney that is, technically speaking, it could never end if they wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like, they can do it without Jack Sparrow if they wanted to. It's a very open concept.
Yeah, the issue is they've built the whole thing. If they were going to do this, they had to do it after At World's End, and they didn't. And the thing is this, that doesn't mean you can't... This is revisionist history, but they could have done little sprinkles of Jack Sparrow. You run into him on an adventure with a whole new crew or something, and everyone would have been like, oh my god, it's him! But they never did that. They just kept doubling down on, it has to be Jack, it has to be Jack.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, now with what we know of his private life with Amber Heard, it's not the best thing to be associated with Johnny Depp in your franchise. Case in point, Fantastic Beasts. So,
oh yeah,
this is a franchise that, money-wise, will still make money. Regardless of if people say they don't want to go or not, they will go. As much as you and I will say, I don't want to see that, and we aren't looking forward to those movies, me, myself, I need to watch it as both a comic book style completionist and as the person who does our reviews fresh on the channel, because you're not going to a theater to do reviews unless I force you to.
Yeah. The newest Pirates, 2017, 172 million. And it was 17th that year.
And that's still money. That's still money, you know, and like the overseas market still is going to get them money. It's not the return of the original trilogy.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, like, you also have to remember 2017 compared to 2006. The box office has changed a lot since then.
Oh, yeah.
Because 2016 to like 2018 is when movies are at their peak of popularity, really.
Yep.
And then
in terms
COVID
of
happens, and then it dies.
Everybody was spending ridiculous amounts of money to go to theaters.
Yeah.
But it was also the height of still you had your local theaters and things that had their discount days and you could go and go watch a movie. I mean, I think that might be the only reason Marcus Theaters is still in good shape. Is their Tuesday nights. Because everybody still goes to Tuesday. The theater is packed opening night and Tuesdays. Like, I'd rather go on a Saturday or a Sunday half the time now over a Tuesday. Because a Tuesday, it's like everybody and their goddamn mother is there being like, that's when you drag out the 70-year-old grandmother. It's like, what's Mission Impossible? Well, it's going to be a fun time at the movies, Grandma. And you're like, why the fuck is she here? I'm not against her watching the movie whatsoever. Anyone who wants to go to a movie should be able to go to a movie. But it's one of those that you're like, just because it's cheap doesn't mean you have to drag people who clearly don't want to be there to be there. You know, like, just think it through before we do that, you know? Where I and just because I'm a theater regular and you could still do these questions, I get asked questions like I'm staff almost every Tuesday I'm there. Where'd you get the water cups from? Oh, I didn't know that popcorn was available. And I was like, yeah. I was like, you just sign up for the movie rewards. It's really easy. It's simple. What's this? What's this discount? I'm like, yeah, I signed up for the movie club. It's really worthwhile if you're here for more than once every 3 months. Oh, that's a really good idea. I'm like, I know. I'm not trying to be the Marcus Theater guy. I just want to go watch my fucking movie. But I'll help you because I'm a nice guy.
Marcus Theater is the only job that I interviewed for and didn't get.
That is still the wildest thing I've ever heard in my life because
I don't understand it either.
it may have been a blessing in disguise.
Oh, it definitely was.
But it made so much sense at the time to be like, hey, the kid that loves movies, why don't you just work at the movie theater?
Yeah. And then the other one that I did interview for, I got the position, and then I actually ended up not wanting to do it, so I just denied, was for Family Video.
Oh, love Family Video. Local chain.
Yeah, and the reason I didn't take it was because they said you can't have a beard. And I said, okay, I don't want to work here. Never mind.
What is with
It was
these...
really strange.
Well, okay, I've had a similar experience where when I was stuck in the grocery chain life during college and I was just like needed jobs, I stayed at... I'll say it, I fucking hate them. Pick and Save, Kroger, Metro Market. Kroger I don't have as much beef with. They just saved someone who I think is an absolute moron, as in a perfect example of failing upward in life. Bob Mariano. Sue me if you want. I don't really care. I think your business practices are trash. The way your company treated people is absolute trash. And your stores are nowhere near as good as you think they are. They're wildly overpriced. I don't really care. As a former employee, I'll tell you that. Also, the product quality completely sucks. But I interviewed at Festival Foods, which is like the grocery chain in Wisconsin, and I ended the interview after 3 questions. By the way, just to show how disillusioned I was, I took that phone call interview in the cooler while still stocking milk for Pick and Save.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those jobs.
And they said, you can't have visible tattoos. And I was like, well...
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was like,
that
well,
makes sense,
that's that. And I didn't have the hand tattoo, so everything from, like, the bracelet up was still there.
Yeah.
And I was just like... Or the trees weren't there even at the time. And I just went, well, I can cover those up. Like, I strategically put my tattoos to the point where if someone was going to judge me work-wise, I could cover them. And I was like, I don't really want to do that, but I can do that. That's fine. They're like, you can't have facial hair. And I was just like, what? And they're like, you can't have a beard. You can have a mustache, but you can't have a beard. I was like, yeah, sorry guys, this is over. I'm not interested in this. I think I even said, that's completely archaic and ridiculous. I'm not interested. Click. I was like, no. You can't tell me I can't have facial hair. Shut up.
To bring us back on topic a little bit, you remember for like 10 years, I was like trying to convince you to get a Kraken tattoo.
Yeah.
I still think about like how awesome it would be to just like have a big ass Kraken taking down a ship.
The worst part.
Awesome.
The worst part about it is twofold. One, our tattoo artist who you got from me, TJ would absolutely love. If you want a great tattoo artist,
he showed me a picture that he drew of like a Kraken taking down a ship.
Our boy
like, that's awesome.
Yeah, our boy TJ at Oshkosh Tattoo and Good Go Piercing, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. He will hook you up. He is great if you ever want a tattoo. We love TJ. I've referred at least 5 to 10 people to TJ, and they've all been happy. So that's totally up his alley. He loves kaiju. He loves stuff like that. He would be very happy to do that tattoo if anyone wants to do Dylan's tattoo idea. 2, the worst part, for the first time since you came up with this dumb running joke that you're serious about, I was watching, I think it was this, and I literally was like, Kraken tattoo would be cool. I was like, I don't want a Kraken tattoo. Why am I saying that? But
one of the things I really love about this movie, which it rightfully earned Best Visual Effects at the Oscars, it's not dated at all. Like, the Kraken still looks amazing.
Yes, I have a little bit of beef on one shot.
Of the Kraken?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not the Kraken. It's a clear problem, in my mind.
Because, to me, I can't think of a better looking, like, sea monster, like giant squid, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
I can't think of a better looking one than this. The design of it is amazing.
I'd agree.
Yeah, all the, like, tentacles and stuff, it just feels so real.
It looks impeccable. Also, it helps when you've got ILM at the top of their powers, and people are starting to catch up, but they haven't caught up fully yet. This is still when ILM is untouchably the best in the world at what they do.
I'm gonna guess that other visual effects houses also worked on it.
It's
But
only because
yeah,
I know
definitely ILM.
John Knoll was the visual effects supervisor, and that like Pirates of the Caribbean is kind of their last whoa, ILM is better than everyone moment. Not that ILM doesn't have any other great moments past that. They've done all kinds of stuff, including Avengers Endgame, Iron Man, so many things that are impeccably important to, or incredibly important to modern cinema.
Hmm.
But the Kraken and Davy Jones and all of the creatures that are created for Pirates 2 and 3 are kind of the last big thing where other people can't do what they can do.
Yeah. So it says Digital Domain and Asylum VFX. I've heard of Digital Domain, but I'm sure those were kind of like subcontractors in a way, where ILM is like farming out shots that they just don't have the time to do.
Right.
But there's parts of this movie, like the Davy Jones introduction, it still looks amazing.
It's
Like
cold. And I would say that that's a badass shot. That's great.
it stands up to pretty much anything nowadays, which is pretty amazing considering how this is almost 20 years old.
Yeah. So we were gonna have a conversation. Let's table that towards the end of a possible return to this franchise because I think I intentionally, before we go fully into this movie, I will say this. I watched this on a sick day I had this week. So I already scheduled it off anyways, and thankfully it just worked out that I was like, oh perfect, I can rest and recoup a little bit. So I was like, okay, I gotta watch Dead Man's Chest for the show. And I intentionally was like, I had a bunch of time, I don't care, screw it. I'll watch At World's End just to see how much of this connective tissue that they set up, how much of this is why I had negative thoughts towards this film were because of the ending they gave us in At World's End. Or the ways they kind of sewed up these things.
Yeah, I have two problems with the movie. I don't know if we want to talk about positives beforehand, but there's two big problems I have with the movie.
Well, let's just shoot for it. Let's shoot from the hip and
Okay,
go for it.
for one, I think it's about 20 minutes too long.
I'd agree.
It's because it's 2 hours and 20 minutes,
I was
which,
flabbergasted when I saw that runtime. I was like, "Are you
yeah,
kidding me right now?"
that's long for like a simple action adventure type of movie.
Yes.
And then the whole plot line of like the love triangle thing they're trying to set up is just, it's not bad or anything. It's just completely unnecessary, which I think could take off, 10 minutes probably just on that stuff.
So runtime concerns. I think you're right. I think you're right on that. That
Oh, and just for reference, the first one I just looked up is actually 2 hours and 23 minutes. So it was keeping on track at least, but
well,
still too long.
At World's End explodes runtime wise.
Oh, yeah, let me look
I
that
know
one
it's
up.
at least over 2.5 hours. I do know that. It's just,
249.
I thought it was in the 240 mark. I couldn't remember if it almost got to 250.
That's damn near a Lord of the Rings movie.
And I'm sorry, this franchise isn't deep enough to be Lord of the Rings. Where
I
there's a
completely
reason,
agree.
there's a reason the sweaties will watch extended cuts of Lord of the Rings because even the adapted versions that are perfect films, or as close to perfect as we can deem them, there's still enough content where you could make two other
Yeah,
movies out of that work of complete mastery and still make really exciting film.
yeah,
And they were just like, no, we're going to do 3 movies for the 3 books. They could have done 6 movies for those books, and it would have been fine because they have enough content to make it work, right?
yeah. I mean, they do a good job of like creating a world, like world building
Oh, yes.
for the Pirates movies. The first three, I should say, not so much the fourth and fifth, but they at least create a lore that's fun to follow.
Yeah. I will say this. I think that Stranger Ties is a highly flawed movie that is not good. I want to make that abundantly clear. I think the world building's still there for that. It's
I haven't watched
clunkier.
it since it came out.
It's clunkier. For a while, I used to like it more than 2 and 3, actually.
Hmm.
I used to like it even more than 1 sometimes when I was just kind of down on 1 for some reason. Solely because 4, they just went, fuck it, let's just do Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Like let's cut out all the unnecessary shit we don't need, and let's just let Jack Sparrow be Jack Sparrow. And I was like, you know what? I'm here for this. Okay.
I think my problem with 4 and 5 is they really do feel uncohesive with the other ones,
Yes.
where they look like a lot cleaner. They look a lot more like sanitized in regard to like just how there's like a grittiness to these first three, which I think is because Gore Verbinski directed all three of them. So
there's a cohesion between all three.
Yes.
The music is very cohesive.
Yeah.
Everything, the aesthetic is very nailed down. The only thing I will say is 1 feels like it has its own aesthetic, and then 2 becomes like light bright in comparison almost with the amount of weird shit we're doing. And then you've kind of accepted it, and then it gets grittier again.
And then also extremely dark at times.
Yes! I was flabbergasted because it's been so long since I watched this movie. I was like, holy shit, we went dark real quick. And it's awesome. It's great. Yeah. You can't say they didn't take risks in this movie.
Exactly.
Hey, oh my god. That loving couple that you loved, wedding's canceled and he's getting arrested. What? Oh, she's getting arrested too. And you're like, what?
Yeah. They're going to be put to death.
You're like, I'm sorry, what? What's happening? And all of a sudden, Jack Sparrow, he's in a pirate castle, which, by the way, looks fucking metal, dude.
Yeah.
And prisoners are being eaten alive by birds that are pecking at him through cages. And then he escapes with some sort of artifact in a casket with a dead body, and he's just floating away and uses it as its own kayak. And I'm like, this is so dark and so metal. I'm here for it. Like, I'm totally here for it.
Yeah. It is awesome. Like, that's why the very beginning of this movie I have zero problems with. Because I think it does a very good job of catching you up and then also introducing Jack Sparrow again in another fun way.
Yep.
Because, I mean, that first one, like, that's iconic. Him, like, stepping off the sinking ship.
Oh, it's incredible.
Awesome.
I think what they do well is they did Indiana Jones. Every time you meet Indiana Jones, it's a new way to meet Indy. Yes. Every single time. And when you can't think of Indy again, you go young Indy and you just call it a day and you get River Phoenix to do the job. And still, they made it fun to see Harrison again. They do the same thing here. It's incredibly smart. Where it's just, hey, we got to introduce him again. You're like, why? Everyone knows this guy. Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I have a lot of problems with the third one, but they also make a choice in their introduction to Jack.
Yeah.
Like, very strange introduction.
You can't say they didn't take a risk, man. They took some risks.
I commend them so much for that, because it's like, I'd rather watch a bad movie that takes a lot of choices, like weird risks, than just, straight down the middle, 6 out of 10.
Sure. I think there's a couple times I think they should have went 6 out of 10, because I think it would have brought their movie up. But a lot of the choices early on, here's what I think is my biggest problem with this movie. I overall thought this movie had way more fun in it than I remembered. It wasn't as absurd and bullshit as I remember it being, because of the balance of being so dark to begin. I think magically, when they are shipwrecked on the island and then they are on the cannibal island, the whole movie tone changes, and that's my problem.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because it gets straight to light, bright bullshit. And I'm like,
yeah,
how did we get from, like, the deepest, darkest depths of fear that every person has to, oh my god, these crazy cannibals that only wear underwear. And you're like, because even the cannibal introduction is awesome. It's awesome.
I think the best comparison would be like, the first part of this movie feels like Temple of Doom, and then the next part feels like, Raiders or Last Ark, where it's a classic adventure movie.
Yeah, I mean, it gets a little Crystal Skullish in there too, and that's my beef.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yes, that
to me it goes.
It's there at times.
It goes height of Temple of Doom darkness to Crystal Skull then kind of gets back to Last Crusade, and then they think they're in Raiders, and it gets Crystal Skullish again, and then it ends well. And then it goes back to Darkness. And I'm like, just pick one. I don't need you to do all of them. Just pick one.
I'd still rather watch that than, Transformers 3.
Well, no shit, but Transformers is absolute trash, Dylan.
Like, it's just all cliched throughout. Like, at least this is being original.
Yes. Okay, so have we gotten over your biggest problems? Have we really?
Yeah. So my big problem was the runtime's too long, and I like the love triangle thing they're trying to set up. I see what they're trying to do, but it's just not necessary at all.
So I had a thought process here, and I want to talk about at World's End for an idea. It doesn't have to be long, and I'll get to it at the end. But it ties to this idea. I like the love triangle. I think it ends foolishly. But I think the only reason I'm not trying to knock her, I think Keira Knightley is great in all these films. I really like Keira Knightley. I wish Keira Knightley would do more actual fun stuff and not just be period piece girl. Granted,
hey, year before Pride and Prejudice.
I mean,
Love
here's my issue. From reports, she had a really rough go of it on some of these early sets when she was really young, and that's why she's kind of stayed away from anything like this ever again. And that's why I'm like, I would love if someone could just get her, something that I think would have worked really well for her. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie of all time, but like, she's not old because she was so young when she did these films.
Oh, yeah.
I could have saw her in like a ballerina-esque thing where she's kind of just doing her own thing. I know
she was.
She did Domino.
She was in that
years ago.
No, she was in that Nutcracker movie.
Oh God.
For Disney.
I mean, no one needs to see that movie.
I never did. I know it bombed.
Here's what I know about the Nutcracker movie. The CGI looked terrible to the point where we were doing a group trip for the Gary Comer Youth Center, Southside Chicago. Great place if you're in that area to send your children to hang out and build some community. It's a great place. Used to work there. Group outing came out the same time as the new Grinch animated film, and I talked my boss into, while we were on the way to the theater because we hadn't bought the tickets yet, I was like, we can't see the Nutcracker with these kids. We've got to watch the Grinch instead of the Nutcracker. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm telling you, they're gonna hate the Nutcracker. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, I will guarantee you it's a better idea. And it turned out to be a better idea. Like, that's what I know about that film.
Yeah. To be fair to her, the cast is pretty stacked actually in that movie.
And yeah, it just looks Matthew like booty
McFadden,
cheeks.
Helen Mirren, Morgan Freeman, her, and then the lead is the girl from Interstellar, who she's pretty good actress.
Oh, I'm not knocking her whatsoever. I'm not knocking anyone that's in the film. It looked terrible. It looked like a worse version of Into the Woods. Into the Woods is a highly overrated film that's garbage.
That's very true. It does look like a dollar store Into the Woods.
And that was my issue. I was like, this is like, our kids are gonna shit all over this. Why would we do this? Like, no. And it turned out to be right on that call. But the reason I like the love triangle, and I wish Keira Knightley would do more stuff, is Elizabeth literally has nothing to do in 2 except that. What is her purpose?
She doesn't have much. I think they could have fleshed out her between, like, being on that ship.
Yep.
Where, like, she's acting like the ghost.
Yeah.
They could have fleshed that out a little bit more, made that a little longer.
Yeah.
And then taken out the love triangle. That'd be my suggestion to them, but...
Well, I would have loved a little bit, even if she's still on that ship, just practicing some basic sword moves up against a post when everyone's asleep. 30 seconds. Just show, like, and literally have her mutter the positions. Like 1 to 3 to 2. Yeah. Almost like Mask of Zorro when they're doing like that in the train. 30 seconds of that, because all you get to even explain, Will told me how to wield a sword, and you're like, I mean, yeah, we're going to accept it no matter what because this is a bullshit pirate movie. But
That'd be a good way of showing versus telling.
Show it, don't tell it, and then you avoid a lot of the criticisms of that character. Because that's the only
Yeah,
character
true.
that pissed me off throughout the whole thing, because she doesn't really have anything to do, and then and the third one, all of a sudden she's a badass. And I'm like, how did
Yeah,
this happen?
that's true.
She goes
Oh,
from
speaking of Mask of Zorro, the two lead writers on this worked on Mask of Zorro,
I always remember that.
and
That's why I like the tone of these
yeah,
movies, because I love the
uh,
Mask of Zorro.
what is it? Ted Elliott and let me look.
It's Terry. It's Terry. Isn't Terry?
Ruscio,
Yeah, it's Rossio. Yeah,
Rossio.
yeah, it's Rossio.
I know them
I
most
can't remember
because
which T name goes with which one, but I couldn't tell you. It's Elliot and
yeah,
Rossio. I can't remember which one it is.
I know them most because they wrote Aladdin.
That's a good pair. It's a good place
Yeah,
to go. They'd be a really safe choice going back to our movie studio draft of we just need a hit. Just write us a hit.
true. I
Just,
think they also wrote Shrek.
they know what they're doing.
They know how to launch franchises.
They know what they're doing, man. So that's my biggest thing is Elizabeth has nothing to fucking do, but she's most interesting in the temptation of that love triangle. That's why I think, as much as I completely agree, if you were just looking at
You know,
runtime, get rid of it.
I think another part of the problem is also the addition of Norrington in there,
Yes.
where it's like it's completely worthless. Like that could have been any other character. It does not matter. I get that it's like kind of interesting bringing him back, showing how he's just completely fallen,
Yeah.
but it's just not necessary.
Well, also, this is really unfair. That's why I'm stating it as unfair. And this is not inherently my thought. But this is where an editor, and I'm talking about any style of editor, not just a film editor, looks at some of the choices they make with their characters and they go, you gotta get rid of the weird tension with Norrington and Elizabeth, or you really gotta go in on it.
Yeah,
Because
because it's right in that middle.
it's in that weird middle where you almost have to you give an like again, that's why I'm saying the unfair portion. Women will always be unfairly judged for any feeling they have on screen and in the world in general. So when you make it look like she potentially has feelings, legitimate feelings for three different characters in
Yeah,
in a 2 hour span, it it makes people that are not as forgiving immediately go, "What a hoe, what a slut." And you're like, "That's not the point." And I understand that, but I very much understand where people think that.
yeah. I think the rest of her character doesn't really reflect any of those struggles, if that's what they were going for. Like,
Right.
if she's being torn in different ways, like towards other people, it doesn't reflect that at all in any other scene.
I think
Because,
the reason I like it is the shit with her and Will just doesn't work for me when they're struggling.
oh,
The stuff that works for me is actually her and Jack, because that's the only
really?
yes, because the only reason I like that is one, say what you will about the man, as Jack Sparrow, this motherfucker is charismatic as hell, especially at this time.
There's a reason he got an Oscar nomination for playing him.
There is a reason Johnny Depp could do no wrong during this period, because this is where he finally figures out, how do I become Johnny Depp palatable for everybody and just get to play fun versions of Johnny Depp. This is his Tom Cruise height of Mission Impossible. This is any Bond actors. I'm just gonna go do a bunch of shit like Bond. Like, Pierce Brosnan played Bond in like 5 different films, really, but he was just Pierce Brosnan the entire time. That's what it is. He is at the height of understanding who he is and what he's gonna do. I think the only time, if you're gonna say the tension kind of works to give her something, is with Jack, because I love showing the compass and explaining that through her, and all of a sudden she's like, wait, what? Because Jack doesn't really represent I love Jack. Jack represents, this is the freedom I've always wanted, because she's supposed to be the woman that's never ever liked the standards for women, which is why she always is romanticizing about pirates and freedom, right? she's not in love with Jack. She loves the idea of what Jack represents, and that's the stuff I like.
Well, if you're gonna say that, you need to show it. They don't show that at all.
I think the only one that is I like that last scene with them at the end of this film. I do.
See, to me, it just reads as she's just, forcing Jack to make a sacrifice.
I agree.
Because otherwise, he's not going to do it. Because he's about the most selfish person in this franchise.
No shit. He's already.
I mean, that's what's great about him.
They've already shown that he's come back to do something good. So
yes,
they've shown that he is willing to sacrifice, but he's still trying to outsmart it, and you just can't outrun it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it's a split second, which is why I like it. Is she almost goes in for that second kiss after he's pulled back a little bit and has figured it out? That's what I like about it, because it's just you can see that it's interpretation, and I understand that. I totally understand why someone would be like, oh yeah, she used her womanly wiles and made the selfish idiot finally do something good for them by just forcing it upon him. I totally get that. It's just that one little struggle where she kind of like bites the lip again and goes for it a little bit more and he pulls back. Because it shows, oh, in this moment, maybe I kind of do want this, but my head's taking over saying I need to get the hell out of here. And she's got that tone of voice where it's like, okay, that's why it kind of works for me. The whole Norrington stuff, absolute garbage. She doesn't need to be a part of it. I have no problem if she's the one who gets him back into the game.
Yeah.
But the problem is, that's what happens at World's End. She allows him to kind of think it again, and you're like...
I don't remember his character at all.
Because it's so throwaway. It's so dumb. Yeah. Like
he's genuinely good. A good character in the first one. Because he works as a very, it's a little bit of an archetype, but it's like, the prim and proper, leader of the bad guys. Because really, are they the bad guys? I don't know. It's hard to say, really.
You mean the people
the antagonists?
They are. That's textbook antagonists. You can't say any of them are bad guys. Yeah. Right? Like, the only thing that makes you think they're bad guys is the fact that they immediately go, pirate, hang them. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they are good, upstanding people that protect people and try to keep the order and peace. They're not some corrupt organization running Port Royal as if they're evil beings. They don't do that.
Yeah, I love how we as Americans will just go, we see the red coat, and then we go, they're evil. Still. It's in our DNA to do that.
Even though they're our friends and allies, and we love pretty much anything from the UK now, and almost half our favorite people that we think are American are actually from the UK. Mm-hmm. And yet, yes, you're right. There's just a DNA in the classic red-blooded American just be like, redcoats, fuck them! And you're like, god damn, dude. It's 250 years ago. Let's let it go.
Yeah. Going back to that love triangle thing, I think my problem with the Jack part of it is they never really give you a reason. They never show a reason why she would like him.
I would agree with that. I think it all rests upon the point that in the first one, even though she's annoyed at some of his actions, which they weren't really together all that much in the first one. It's really Jack and Will, and she's stuck on the ship as a damsel in distress.
Well, they do have that marooned scene where they're marooned together, and she burns all the...
That's true. That's true.
But that's also a time when she's playing Jack, trying to get him drunk so she can wake up early and burn all the rum.
Right.
So it's it's a little bit too much of the same thing twice. I just even if they just showed her being a little bit questionable about her relationship with Will in the beginning, I think that's what's most jarring is they show her as 100% dedicated to him.
She's in, yeah.
If there was some kind of question about their relationship, then I think I could buy it a lot more. Then it's okay, I see why she would want different choice.
I think you're right. I think it's always supposed to come down to what does Jack represent for her. Mm-hmm. But it only comes off as oh, she likes Jack now, and you're like, what?
That's what I don't like. Yeah, because
And I think
that's
that's very fair.
literally what it is in the movie.
Because that's the other problem again, to bring up at World's End, the problem is this movie is a setup movie. This is one of the longest setup movies of all time.
Yeah, I was looking it up. Apparently, this was filmed back to back with At World's End,
Yeah, it was.
which that now, like looking at that, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense.
But this is one of the longest setup movies of all time, and I will give it credit for a setup movie. It stands on its own really well.
True.
I will give it that. But this is literally just a setup movie. And yet, it all kind of comes back at the end to, oh, I've always been in love with Will. And you're like, yes.
I think another thing, like, you know what they could have done? They could have been really pissed off, or she could have been really pissed off that Will just decided to like stay on the Flying Dutchman,
Yeah.
like because he chooses his family over her, something like that. I don't know. Just give me a reason why.
Give me something. Give me something.
It's just a yeah, it's a subplot that, like I said, I don't think it's necessary in this movie at all.
I agree. I think the only reason I like it is I like the subtext behind it, but I don't like the execution of it. That's one of those
Good way of saying it.
a great clip to understand that is Tarantino when he's learning how to be a director. As he talks about that, he's like, someone said, "Have you done your subtext?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're the writer, so everything makes sense to you, but now you have to go be the director, and you have to get all the subtext down so that the audience understands what the writer understands." And he's like, "Oh." Like, that's the easiest way to boil down kind of what he says.
Yeah.
And that's where I will say that's completely fair. Because I like the subtext behind it, because I interpret it in a positive way. But normally I wouldn't go into a movie going, oh, it's been so long, let me revitalize my complete thought process on that. Normally, we watch a movie, I do reviews an hour after I've seen the movie and post them up as fast as possible. Because I'm like, oh. Hence the reason I'm trying to do this one quickly, because I'm going to Superman tonight as fast as I possibly can.
I thought you would, yeah.
It's either that or I have to avoid a weekend of spoilers, and I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
know.
I just know it's going to happen. I guarantee you could go right now. I guarantee you there's a theater right now that's open for you.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm not going, though. It's opening night. I'm not going to opening night.
Oh, but that's when it's fun.
It'd be way too packed.
Yeah, but that's when it's fun to go.
People.
I know you don't, but
No.
But this is where the audience is going to be most respectful that you'll like, because they'll sit down and watch the movie.
No, my misophonia does not allow me to enjoy movies.
So you'll go tomorrow. So you're going tomorrow morning, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, like hearing people munch on popcorn is torture for me.
That's fair. That is very fair. Which is why I always like to eat on the show, just to fuck with you a little bit. But I don't actually do
One person I did want to shout out is Tom Hollander, who plays Beckett. His character and him as an actor do such a great job of making you fucking hate him.
That's a slime ball. That's different than the Port Royal Guards. Yeah. You know he's a shitbag.
Yes, compare him to Norrington in the first one, and it's like such a strong villain that you hate him more than you hate Davy Jones. Davy Jones is also a great character.
The only issue I have with that dynamic, it's the only issue, is I think the perfect way to examine this in film is you need the real big bad and the big bad. But you need the 1-2 or 1A, 1B. And to me, Davy Jones is the real big bad, but actually the threat is actually always the East India Company. And that's where I'm like, but the reward is beating Davy Jones. The reward isn't really beating Beckett.
Yeah, that's fair, but considering that, like you said, this is a setup movie, I understand why they did it.
Yes.
Because if they connect Davy Jones and Beckett too early, like eventually they become an alliance, really.
Well, not an alliance, an unwilling partnership, because he will die if he doesn't do what Beckett says. He does
just completely hold him for ransom. But if they do that too early, I wouldn't buy it at all.
Yeah.
And the way they do it, I think they do a good job of like they do a really good job of fleshing out each character where they all have actual plots going on.
That's true.
Like a lot of movies, you'll have them A plot and then a B plot love story. And it will be like the main character has the only plot.
Yeah,
This one, each person gets screen time for their plot.
that's very true.
The only
It,
other movie I can think of that fleshes it out, I don't think as well as this one actually, but Guardians of the Galaxy. Like
yeah,
each character is set up, you understand where they were in the past and their story going forward.
Drax is the only
But
one. Yeah, Drax is the only one who
I,
doesn't really get it to begin with. He gets it over time,
yeah,
but
that's why I think actually this movie's pretty remarkable on that level, especially compared to the movies we've talked about as big at box office.
yeah,
Like obviously not Back to the Future and like the greats, you know.
yes.
But like some of the like substandard ones, like Phantom Menace.
I mean, it's better than Phantom Menace. It's better than Batman Forever that we've done. What are some other ones that we've? The problem is we hit a lot of heavy hitters. We haven't done a lot of the duds yet. Thankfully,
True.
the roll of the dice and the anniversaries have been really kind to us. But
Yeah, that's very true.
yeah, but I mean, most of them have been really good. Here, so I want to do this quick because I think that we
Oh,
have.
the other one that does it a lot better. This does it a lot better. Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Oh God, Spider-Man 3 was travesty of justice.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I want to do. I'm gonna just put out some quick highlights, and then I want to transition into why this movie doesn't work as well, because it's not the movie's fault; it's the sequel's fault. Because we keep
Sure.
bringing up World War One, the introduction to the natives, cool as fuck. Where all of a sudden the eye pops out and the camouflage, great.
Yeah.
The visuals in this are impeccable. They are
You know
great.
what's funny about that moment? I know it's coming, and it always manages to make a jump scare out of it every
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. That's perfect. All the dark stuff at the beginning, especially the imagery, incredible. The intro to Davy Jones is so goddamn good. And the best to understand that character, I love when Davy Jones shows up and then he starts talking, you're like, wait, what? There's more to this guy than just murderous killer. He's got a little bit of that swashbuckler to him, which is kind of cool.
Hmm.
But then it's when he pops out of the telescope and he just closes a gap after like hundreds of yards because Jack looks at him
Hmm.
perfectly. That is one of the best shots in movies I'll ever see. I don't care what anyone says. That works so well.
Hmm.
And the Davy Jones look is incredible. I think the Flying Dutchman looks great. The fact that they really went in all in on that. They didn't do any half-assed, oh, it's a decaying ship. It's like, no, 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 no. We are going to make sure you know this is
Yeah.
nature is taking this because the sea owns this at this point. It's almost like he controls the sea, but the sea controls him. It's a
Yeah.
very cool
They
aesthetic.
do they do a really good job with the design of each character and the ship itself on the Flying Dutchman.
There is not a single character that is part of the crew of the Flying Dutchman that does not have a unique trait. All of them are
Yeah.
unique characters. The Hammerhead
Which
Shark
one
is
you
incredible.
I was about to say which one you want to be. I'd have to be the Hammerhead.
I
It's
mean,
so awesome.
which one do you want to be? I don't want to be any of them.
Well, yeah, obviously. The only one I definitely don't want to be is the guy at the end who gets his head thrown
Yeah, that's
off
out.
when
That's
he gets
out.
hit with the coconut.
I kind of like the pufferfish looking guy simply because
Mm-hmm.
the bearded look of the pufferfish spikes is kind of cool and it's kind of X-Men esque, and I'm down with that.
That's true.
Obviously, you kind of like it's hilarious that Bootstrap is still human with just some like crustaceans on him, and then everyone else is like full on creature.
I see. I read that as he's a newer member of the crew.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I did too. And he would be by standard because Davy
Mhm.
Jones has apparently been doing this for hundreds of years at this point.
Yeah.
And everyone else has been long term and he's been there for 20ish years
Yeah.
tops.
Well, also, I just thought of another gripe I have with the movie, and it's actually not a gripe now, but I think it was a gripe when we were the age when it came out.
Yeah.
They do not explain that dice game at all. Like I
Zero.
understand it now, but as a kid I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I
Like
still
I
had.
literally
I still had. I replayed. Not word for word because I don't remember the conversation, but I replayed our anger towards that because I was like, I think I get it now. But like, what the fuck are they doing? Like,
I definitely get it now. It's just you pick a number and you have to up the ante. So you have to say like 5, and then
yeah,
the next person would have to say higher than 5
yeah,
or call you a liar. And you have to like decide based on what you have and what other people have.
right.
It's kind of like reverse poker in a way.
It's reverse Yahtzee is really what it is. Like we have to worry about
Yeah,
how whatever else is rolling
actually,
Yahtzee.
that's very true.
The
Yeah.
only thing I thought about it is because I immediately thought of the loophole version. As oh, what do we gamble with? The only thing we have years. I was like, why wouldn't someone? Because they show that they can sleep on the vessel. They're
Mhm.
not constantly working. What I would like, why wouldn't anybody just sit in the back when everyone's asleep and just hammer home learning probabilities of dice, just memorizing Rain Man style, and just bet. I'll bet you 5. I'll bet, and you just
I
constantly knock your time off by giving it to other people by winning those games, and you just
I
eventually get to the point of I served 2 years, but I got it.
I think you're giving those pirates a little bit too much credit for mathematics there. I don't think they're the smartest bunch.
Well, I'm not saying that, but if the only thing you can have is to gamble years of service, it doesn't take a genius to understand. Wait, hold on. I have 100 years. 95 would be better.
All they need is someone with autism, and then they'll figure it out.
They only need you or a member of the community that you're a part of.
Oh no, see, I'm not a savant.
That's true.
I'm not a savant like Rain Man is.
But yeah, they need Dustin Hoffman from Rain Man on board. That's a great animated robot chicken.
Yeah.
That's a great concept for that. I love it. I just want to keep pointing out awesome, cool stuff. I love the smart little details of the first act where it shows how fearful Jack is, where he's always been obsessed with his effects. He always wants his coat, he always wants his sword and pistol, that's obvious, but the hat is the most important thing in the world to him. And when the whole crew is like, get Jack's hat, and he's like, no, leave it. And they're all like, what? That is the funniest way, but to seriously convey, this is a badass motherfucker that I'm afraid of. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that touch. It's such a
Yeah.
unique way to show, no, this villain's a problem, and you need to be aware of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of great little moments that tell you a lot
Yes.
without having to explain it all.
I just think all of, and also all the stuff with Tia Dalma, the whole Bayou, Scooby Doo esque bullshit. I'm here for it. It looks incredible. I love that ghostly, misty swamp vibe of the Bayou. I'm here for
They
it.
they also lucked out with Naomi Harris being a fantastic actress.
They did. It's funny because I remember being like, she's so good. Why isn't she in anything? And then she just shows up as Moneypenny in Skyfall, and that's the rest of her career essentially. And you're like, okay.
And then 10 years later, she's like one of the most respected actresses, or she should be at least, because she's amazing.
I just think all the design work is incredible. The production design is spectacular and fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's all so good. And I think the funny part is, as a kid, I would argue At World's End is far superior to Dead Man's Chest. Because I remember even as a kid, when they're doing the rotating fight on the wheel and it just keeps going and going, I was like, this is too much. Even as a 14-year-old, I was like, this is bullshit. What are we doing?
Yes. That's another moment where it's like, cut just 60 seconds of this and it'd be more exciting.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, as a stunt,
incredible.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
It's incredible, stunt. Yeah. And as like the choreography and stuff, it's amazing, but it is a little too self-indulgent.
A little too This is masturbatory. This is Zack Snyder-esque masturbatory. It goes on for like 5 minutes.
True, but I don't think it gets into the depths that At World's End does. That one is way too self-indulgent.
And that's where I think this franchise kind of starts coming apart. Because that's where I wanted to go with this is, I don't think you've watched At World's End just to follow up on this film. But I know you know enough of the movie that we can have the conversation.
Yeah.
Norrington is utterly useless and disappears. And you lose the fact that I don't think the way they portray Norrington and Dead Man's Chest is actually interesting. And it doesn't seem like he's obsessed with Elizabeth. It seems like there's actually something more to him than just, I'm prim and proper and I deserve the girl because I'm prim and proper.
Yeah. And they do a good job of, like, you know, those early Star Wars movies of world building?
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, these characters have lived in between these movies.
Yes!
Because he's like, they set up, like, oh, he was chasing Jack, but then there was a hurricane. That's why, like, he's disgraced now. Like,
Yes.
they do a good job of setting up the characters. They just take them in a route that is just not necessary.
Well, At World's End is just, when you actually look at it narratively, it's just so unfulfilling.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's actually not unnecessary. It's more just uninteresting a lot of the time.
Well, he's uneasy, but he just goes straight back into doing the job. But now he knows he's working for corrupt people. It's not like Port Royal, where he knows the governor, as hoity-toity as he is a good dude. And he just wants the best for people, really. Sure, he's a snob of an upperclassman, but he's not actively trying to hate anybody or take away from them, right? But he's, like, I love the idea, like, I think it was a missed opportunity with Norrington, where I'm like, the whole thing with Norrington should have been cut because it goes nowhere and it's super unfulfilling. Because it's so fun in Dead Man's Chest to see the edge to him, to see how he's more angry, he's more visceral, he actually gives a shit about something besides just, well, I am lawman, therefore I am law. And you're like, shut up. No one cares.
Yeah. It'd almost be more interesting if he just didn't reveal who he was and just joined the crew.
Almost, yeah.
Like, obviously, there'd be, like, a little bit of, you need to, like, you know, suspend your disbelief a little bit in that.
You got to put the eye patch, and he's got to have a real different haircut.
Yeah.
And he's got to do a lot of different stuff. Scar him up a little bit. Just do something to say. Like, I think the Hurricane would have been perfect. Just get him, like, a big old eye patch with scars and everything. Yeah. Give him the scraggly look. Give him the beard look. It's done in video games all the time, and it kind of works. And I know it's a video game and it's whatever, but give it something so that someone like Jack, who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
When he's literally...
those other pirates...
Well, especially Jack, when he is trying to hire drunk people because they'll be dumb enough to serve so he can trade their souls for his own.
Also, that's a great moment, too. Where they're enlisting all these, like, people who are just despondent.
Right.
Like, they are just the worst of the worst.
Well, I do love that. How are we doing? Including those four? 4. That's a great line.
Yeah.
It's a great line.
Mr. Gibbs, he's underrated in all 3 movies.
I just, like, Norrington actually is kind of fun. I wish they would have brought him back, and even if they give him the position back, have some edge to him. Don't wear the wig. Be a little bit more rebellious. Be a little bit... No, I've seen some shit. And then, when he does make that moment of sacrifice for Elizabeth after a while, saying, like, yeah, I did choose the wrong side, and I don't want to be a part of it, and now I'm going to sacrifice myself, then that gives so much more weight to that, because you can see he isn't just company man, and he just turns right back into company man, and it's wrong. You're like, dude, this sucks. Elizabeth gets away from a love triangle, and at least at the end you can say, I don't really buy it, but maybe she does have feelings for Jack, whatever.
Yeah. And it's believable in a sense, but, like, yeah, the Norrington one is just very unsatisfying. So
unsatisfying. And then at World's End, she starts, like, which side you chose and all this stuff, and then she's like, come with us. And then she accepts a kiss from him, and it's supposed to look like she's taken aback, but it's not like she really fights back either, which, again, I'm not saying it's fair that women are judged this way, but this character, I'm like, this character's done so poorly, where she just accepts it happens, man. And they're like, what are you doing?
I think if you role reverse it, and you have a guy, like, split 3 ways, I think I'd have the same exact problem.
I would too.
Like,
but
I know
it's
some
always
people
done. It's always done with a woman.
Yeah, I think there would be people who would be way more forgiving if it was a guy. Like, if James Bond was split between 3 women, they'd be like, whatever, it's James Bond. I get it.
Right, exactly.
But, like, I would have that problem just because, on a story sense, it just really dilutes it.
Right, and the thing is, at World's End, the tension's at least believable between her and Will. But the setup to get to that tension is kind of fraught. But at World's End, when he's actually doing very duplicitous things and not telling her about it because his feelings are hurt, I'm like, I buy this. They're distant. They're not talking anymore.
That's why I think without this love triangle, if you just keep them as star-crossed lovers who are kept separate by circumstance rather than any choices they make, then that's so much more satisfying when they have that like marry us moment at World's End.
So indulgent, and I hate that. I hate it.
It is. It is. I mean, I love it because the score is amazing.
Oh, the score is great. Scene. But no, the problem is the score does not fit the tone of the moment. And I hate it so much.
I think it does when it hits the slow-mo, but like, yeah, if you just keep them apart, even though they're trying to be together, and you don't, no wavering on either end, that would be way more filling in at World's End. Because you finally have them together, you have them fighting together. Yeah.
I have two thoughts going into World's End I really wanted to talk about. Because I had an alternate ending idea based off of what we're discussing, and I had just something I would have changed.
Just real quick, I did look it up. They did get a nomination for art direction or set design. If you want to say
damn well should have. That shit looked impeccable. It was incredible.
They didn't win, but they got a nomination, which is good.
We didn't circle back to the Kraken. I want to do it quick. The Kraken, incredible, looks great, love it. I hate the fact that the Kraken just is neutralized right at the beginning at World's End. You're like, wait, the Kraken's gone?
That's like the biggest moment in that movie. That it's just like,
what? Exactly.
Like I know the Kraken is like kind of a cheat code in a sense.
Yes.
It's a little bit OP, but it's like, just come up with something. Don't kill it on screen.
Who in the world? I understand that Beckett's going to think, well, he'll just use the Kraken against my ships. But also, what devious mastermind who always has a flaw wouldn't think, I can use it to take out the pirates then? Like, that's the whole idea.
Also, how did they take it out?
Exactly!
Maybe they hired some, they had time-traveling German U-boats down there. They merged all the franchises together.
The only shot I have a problem with the Kraken at World's End, and it's not the Kraken, because the Kraken looks impeccable, is, to me, it is very obvious. And I'm not saying to me. It's just abundantly obvious. When Jack's about to make the sacrifice and the Kraken comes up behind him, and he's like wriggling his hand out, it's so clearly green screen with Kraken playing Kraken movie, and he's on a physical set turning around. I'm like, I don't like that. It just doesn't look like it's actually Kraken. Yeah. That's the one time of this entire movie where the Kraken doesn't look like it's part of everything. It looks like Kraken is here, Jack is here, and we have to put it on film. And I'm like,
I get that, but it's like, you have to think of the 1,000 other VFX shots that are perfection.
Oh, I know, but that's the biggest moment of the fucking movie.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I was writing a note or something. I didn't notice that at all.
It's bothered me since I was a kid. That's because that's the one time. It's one of the few times, even as a kid, I was pulled out of a movie because I was like, that doesn't look as good.
Yeah, usually I have a lot of moments like that.
I'm very forgiving. I'll just buy in a lot of the time. Just be like, all right, cool, we're here. Unless I'm doing reviews like this where I'm like, okay, we got to be critical. We actually got to do some stuff.
Well, this is again this franchise. The first two. Third one gets a little too fake. It's a very good at an example of mixing practical with visual effects rather than just having 100% VFX shots. Because there's a tangibility that you just can't get because people don't think of imperfections at all when they're creating a 100% VFX shot.
Tentacles aren't supposed... Like, when you actually look at an octopus... Like, for instance, if you ever eat octopus, tentacles, although they're matched up very well...
Also, real quick, don't do that, please.
I don't eat them, but my wife still orders it, and I don't like eating it.
They're amazing, amazing creatures. How smart they are.
But if you actually look at tentacles, they're never actually one for one on each side. They're always just a hair... just a little off. It's not a lot. It's easy. Like when you're doing a cartoon drawing, you just go circle, 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 and you do it straight up.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at a real tentacle, it's very much a little. It's just a little different. You know.
What I would say is like, think of a lion coming at you, and then like you scare it off and make it run away. If a VFX person does that, it's just gonna do that exact thing. But with a real animal, there's like an unknown factor that you're like, it could react anyway, and it's surprising.
Yes.
Which that's hard to pull off in VFX.
I agree. So I just wanted to talk about that Kraken moment because we're going to circle back to it. Two things I want to do because this is what I would change about At World's End. If you're going to marry them, and you already have this big despair moment, I would have them get married as they are going into battle. And I know it's not the same fun swashbuckling thing, but I think it gets home the point of we're probably going to die. So if we're going to die, I want to die knowing I gave everything I had to you.
That's fair. The only question I would have is there still like a question about their relationship at the beginning of the battle? I don't remember.
That's the problem. I think World's End, it gets way too muddy. And you're like, why? Like, I understand Jack is devious as all hell. But even with all of his devious shit, you know Jack is going to do those things. Why wouldn't you want the wild card with you? Where you know at the end of the day, even as fucked up and crazy and selfish as he can be, Jack Sparrow is ingenious and will find a way to win just to save himself. Where Will, you don't know that.
I was going to say not even win, just live.
Exactly. You know he will do something to help you. You don't know that from Will unless you're just blind Elizabeth saying, well, it's Will. And you're like, but no! It's not how it works.
I think they do a pretty good job at fleshing out his character in this one.
Will?
I mean, the first one, he's a complete archetype. He's just a very simple character.
Yes.
In this one, they at least give him, like, something to do that's not just love Elizabeth.
Yes. And 3, the first act and a half, I'm here for it. While he's killing people and putting them on fucking barrels to float away as a breadcrumb trail, here for it. Because it's wild and ridiculous. And then all of a sudden it's just, I'm like, fuck this, I'm out.
Pretty much the only thing I remember about that third one, like, with great memory, is those crabs. Like, that's the most memorable part of that movie.
But you obviously remember the ending of At World's End, which we've talked about enough, so I'm not going to say spoiler warning to anyone. Is Will gets stabbed by Davy Jones, and to save Will, Jack takes his broken saber and stabs the heart with Will.
Again, I think that's a great idea.
I like the idea of it happening. I think it happens to the wrong person.
That's fair. I just don't think, if you're going to stick to just character, I don't think Will is crafty and smart enough to make that choice. I think only Jack would have, actually,
I'm not saying Jack's the one that should get stabbed.
Oh.
I think Elizabeth's the one that should get stabbed. Here's my thought. Here's my logic. Just take this ride with me for a little bit, right?
Sure.
We have already talked about how they're kind of supposed to be star-crossed lovers, but they don't ever really execute that perfectly well.
Yeah.
And they keep talking about in 2 and 3 these themes of choices. Our choices get us to where we are. Our choices, our choices, our choices. By the battle in 3, she is now actively chosen to be a pirate. Whether she's actually going to go pillage and plunder anything is irrelevant. She's chosen to be the pirate life. And now she doesn't have her father to go back to. She's got nothing to live for outside of the life that she chooses for herself. And if we're going to go with the idea that Jack is freedom, but it's really being a pirate is freedom. The sea is like being command of yourself is really what you're supposed to do. I think it's way more impactful if she tries to save Will and she goes down. One, it shows Davy Jones to be far more menacing because you're like, it's kind of what you've always talked about. When the villain kicks the dog, you immediately go, well, that's fucking villain.
Yeah.
If the villain stabs the main female protagonist that's actively in a love story, you immediately go, that's fucked. Like,
The only reason I would argue against that is then the relationship between Will and his dad really doesn't have an ending or a satisfying ending.
I think it does.
Whereas like when Will becomes the captain of Flying Dutchman and his dad agrees to like, stay on with him, that's at least a satisfying ending to that whole subplot.
Because I think you can get both done, because then you could have Will choose to serve with her. And Dad can stay. Dad can stay, and they can all be a family and learn how to just live life.
If you're gonna do that, then I would say I would have no problems with it.
That's my thing. It's like
I don't think they were gonna ever do that.
No, and I think they wanted the compelling star-crossed lover thing, but I think we've come to the conclusion that I'm not saying they execute it so poorly that you're like, what the fuck? But
I think they do a great job in the first movie. They complicate it in the second, but then there's just
the third gets so muddy with some of the things they're doing with each other.
Yeah, in terms of a love story, it's satisfying, but in terms of the journey to that love ending, it's not satisfying. So,
and that's why I'm thinking.
It also should be said, I've been listening to Romeo and Juliet, so like, I just bought it on Audible, so maybe that's why I'm thinking that way.
Fucking Spielberg sentimentality, just let them be together. No, but I think it's far more compelling that way. Is you get the satisfaction of A, they get to be together. B, he chooses a life that's honorable, decent, honors the character that you fell in love with in the first place, but also honors the love that he's had the entire time, and they actively choose each other. Where she fights and she's like, I don't want you to serve. I don't want you to do this. I don't want to take away your life. And he's just like, you are my life. I want to do this. Mm-hmm. And then the dad can have the choice, and they're like, I want to set you free. That's what Will wanted. And he's just like, if you'll have me, I'd like to stay and actually get to know my family. Mm-hmm. Then all three of them can live on. You can always have the Flying Dutchman as your thing, but it was clear. The only thing I will say about the ending of At World's End is they teased the Fountain of Youth or whatever. I'm not sure they were actually going to do it, but the timing of the next sequel does make it seem as though they're planning on doing something. But then you can literally just go, it's just Jack now. Everybody else is out here. And when we get really desperate 3 movies from now, then we can bring all 3 of them back and we're all happy.
I don't hate that idea of having them both end up on the ship. The way it's done, again, is like adding to the star-crossed lover part of it, which I would actually argue should be resolved more than that. Like,
also, it's just like it's so dumb because they're actively at odds with each other, and then they get in a battle, they love each other, and then it's just, I've lost the most important thing ever, and you're like, motherfucker, you were so mad with him, and he was mad with you 2 days ago. Yeah. I'm not saying you're not going to still love each other, but going from, I don't think I can trust you to, I've lost the greatest thing in my life that quickly, I'm like, come on! Just fucking come on, man. That's where I get irked.
I get that. I'd be curious of, like, seeing that alternate version.
Yes.
Like, that'd be pretty cool, but yeah. Also, should we talk about is it a credit scene in Dead Man Tells No Tales? Is that what the 5th one's called?
Yeah, are you talking...
Jones returning.
What are you talking about?
There's a end scene or a credit scene where Will and Elizabeth are in bed. And then there's a lightning flash, and then in the shadow is that, like, crab claw of Davy Jones.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm legit no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I think it's a credit scene then. It must be.
Because the one I know of is the obvious ending where they had to get Keira Knightley for 10 seconds to run up the hill. And so they're together.
No, there's a moment I know where they show Davy Jones returning. Because I was like, what? Like, literally, you dealt with him in the most, with the most finality you could.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense for his character return, which is always something I get pissed off about. It's just like, either let him die. Actually, no, just let him die and create a new character. It's like, You got to do the work a little bit. I get there's fan
Huh.
service.
Yeah, you're right. Huh.
I
Never
told
knew
you.
about it.
Was it a credit scene?
Yeah, post credits, yeah.
Okay, that's what I
Talk
thought.
about a bad fucking idea. It's
Well,
it's
exactly.
it's all fueled by the one idea. Wouldn't it be so cool? And you're like, of course it'd be cool in the 30 seconds that you see it.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
think
no
that's
different.
really.
It's no different than like that's trailer level shit. But it's only cool if you actually like the first time. Like I'll never forget when they were having Ryan Reynolds just kind of talk for the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. And the whole
Uh-huh.
thing is, it just says Deadpool 3. What's Deadpool 3 be? And everyone just goes in not knowing. And then all of a sudden it's, hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine again? He's just like, sure. That's that's the level of thinking. Wouldn't that be cool? The problem
Yeah.
is, that movie at least knows, hey, we're going to get to play Deadpool and Wolverine together. Versus this character that we killed off, and we have no idea how to come back with,
Yeah.
he gets to come
I
back.
mean, that's the whole thing about like these cinematic universes that I really don't like is they'll do so much fan service work instead of just making a new character. And
Well, the worst part is
it's just
I think they got gun shy because they tried and it didn't work. But that's because
in terms of
I think on Stranger Tides really fucked them up because I think they thought Ian McShane, it's going to be perfect. We're going into Blackbeard, which has even more real name recognition than Davy Jones does.
I'm gonna look up the box office real quick on that.
But I think they thought they had something, and then they killed Blackbeard off, which makes no sense.
Huh? 241 million. So it is technically
People were
speaking the second highest grossing
people
one.
people were still willing to go see it, and I
Yeah,
think
it was number 5 that year.
people were still willing to go see Pirates, and they just didn't have a reason to keep going. And from a perspective of Disney, who I'm sorry, you can say whatever you want. Outside of some of the risks they took that were very pre-planned, and some weren't pre-planned, but some of them were pre-planned in the MCU, Disney has been as paint by numbers as it gets for the last 15 years. Bob Iger,
Yeah.
Bob Iger is about printing money. So if you want a guy who knows how to print money and make you successful, that's Bob Iger, and that's why it's smart to have
Yeah.
Bob Iger on your team. But you can't run every movie like that, and so much
I,
of Disney's has been
yeah.
just do stuff that's going to make people smile because
Yeah.
we'll make
Well,
money. And you're like, well, it's bullshit.
All these franchises, the word I would use is cynical, where it's like they're so afraid of the audience rejecting a new idea that just like keep using the old stuff. Just
We'll keep
doing it.
regurgitating the old stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, 2011, which is when Pirates came out. Listen to this top 5: Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2. That's good. Transformers: Dark of the Moon, which is the third one.
Not good.
Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1. The Hangover 2, and then Pirates 4. That's a weak top 5.
Wait, Hangover 2 was 2011? Oh, yeah, because 2009 was The Hangover, yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was 7, 9, and 11, not 9, 11, and 13. So, can't tell you. 2011 was a rough year. There's a lot of good
Apparently.
rando movies in 2011 that I like, but no big standout.
Yeah.
Also, I can unfortunately say I have now watched a Twilight movie. A couple weeks ago, Ab and our friend Robbie
I've seen all of
finally
them.
got me to do it. Yeah, but I was very proud to have never watched a Twilight movie.
Oh, okay.
And you know what?
I-
I was
hey.
proven right. They're garbage because I saw the first one. It's straight trash.
No, I will stick up for the first one because it actually feels like an indie movie more than like a giant franchise thing. Like it feels so much more unique than all the other ones that just feel like the most milquetoast you can get.
So, Dylan, if you want to stick up it from that sense, go for it. Don't ever stick up for Twilight again. That movie's straight garbage.
No, I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm just saying, like, in terms of style, it at least has one, where the other ones
Fine.
are so
Fine.
awful.
I'll give you that point. But let's talk about we've tabled it. We might get a new Pirates movie. Talking about regurgitating old ideas. And quote, let's get the band back together again.
Yes.
Obvious first hiccup. Johnny Depp has been now legally put on record stating he will never return to Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know why that had to be asked in open court, but it was, and he is on record in an actual lawsuit stating, or an actual true court case stating, he will never go back.
Yeah, I'm just looking up real quick if there's like updated news about it. It says Jerry Bruckheimer's probably returning to produce it, which makes sense.
The thing is, they've been trying to produce a new one for 5 to 6 years after, but they were going to relaunch it, and Margot Robbie was always said to be the person that was going to come back and lead this franchise.
Apparently, it won't be a total reboot.
Then
yeah, Margot Robbie was rumored.
Then what is it going to be if it's not a total reboot? It's just going to be the same people, and they're going to do the same dumbass things that they did.
So apparently the Margot Robbie movie was in November of 2022. Margot Robbie confirmed that her Pirates of the Caribbean movie would not be moving forward, and they killed the movie.
Yes. So it was a COVID casualty for a while because that got talked about for like 3 years.
There's also been rumors of, I can't remember how to say her name, Ayo Edebiri,
yes,
from The Bear,
yes,
that she's going to be starring in it. I mean, obviously Orlando Bloom's coming back because that's what this all started from. But I don't have a problem with them returning if they just have new ideas. If they just go back to Davy Jones and all the other stuff, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I've seen it.
I agree with you. I don't have an issue wanting to see the new people. It would be completely hypocritical of me saying I don't want to see them again in a new one, knowing full well I'm like this the entire time a superhero movie when it's a big event. Like Doomsday, I want to see Chris Evans. I want to see Captain America. Because they haven't given a true substitute yet. And if I don't see it, I better see a good Wolverine. I better see a couple good things from the past. That I want to see Wesley Snipes' Blade again. I don't care if he died or not. I want to see it again because you can do it 1,000 different ways. I want to do something where you actually play with the fact that Doctor Doom is just going, the whole thing of the worlds are colliding and I'm making one. I want to see somebody return to do something. So I can't say it'd be hypocritical for me to say I don't ever want to see them again. I'd be down for Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. I would. I think, I'm not saying he's the best dude in the world, but it's very clear that both he and Amber Heard were in one of the most toxic relationships of all time. Neither of them were good people in that. You can
No, not at all.
You can say what you want about the trial and whatever was happening. There aren't a lot of reports of Johnny Depp just being a complete shitbag outside of that.
I mean, in terms of the trial, who came off better looking?
Oh, Johnny
Depp.
Johnny Depp 1,000%.
That's why I think he will return for a 6th one. I don't know if I am excited by that idea. Because, I mean, at this point, Johnny Depp has to be almost 60 years old. Like,
okay, let's do this then. Of the 3, who would you actually be most excited to see return? I'm not really excited by anyone outside of... I'm not saying I'm like, I want Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow back with all of my heart. But of the 3, that's the one I want the most.
I would say it's dependent on the story they create. Because I don't hate Will and Elizabeth's character. I actually like them a lot. It's just, will they have enough to do in a new movie if they're not the actual centerpieces?
No, like, what do you can't bring back Elizabeth without Will. It's irrelevant. She can't do anything. I'm not saying that because that's just what they've shown. Outside of being able to sword fight on a pirate ship, she doesn't have anything else, and she's been stranded on some rando island for 20 years at a time now.
With a kid, yeah.
That's what her role has been, and that's them giving her that role. What is she going to do?
Wasn't that kid grown up in the Pirates 5?
Exactly.
That their son?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I couldn't remember.
So what's the point of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to tell me, like, they're making a Pirate 6. Which of the three do I want to see? I'd probably pick Orlando Bloom just because I've already seen two movies with Jack Sparrow as the lead with no one else surrounding him that's interesting. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, the thing is this. If you were to do anyone coming back story wise, logically, Orlando Bloom is the choice. Because you could
mhm.
do other. The problem is the fifth one kind of leaves no options for supernatural stuff anymore. Because they just kind of like say, no more supernatural stuff. The
Oh, I
tridents.
don't remember.
Well, the trident, like the Poseidon's trident or whatever the fuck the MacGuffin is, they're like it controls the sea and everything else, and like everything, like nothing is more important than this thing. And you're like, so are there no more supernatural things since it's gone? What's the deal? But you also like the Flying Dutchman still exists. So what is it?
Hmm.
And we've already done Ghost Pirates 5 times.
You know what would
So
be
like,
what would what would be interesting is if they make Orlando Bloom kind of like an antagonist, but not evil.
sure,
In some way, they could do that. Like where like he's ultimately you don't agree with him, but like you understand his reasons for something.
sure.
They could do that. That'd be kind of interesting.
I have no problem if he does extended like I it's not even cameo work, it'd be a smaller part. But I like to think of them as extended cameos. Come in, make an impact for think of I would say it's Yoda in Return of the Jedi. You know, like Yoda's there for like 4 scenes, so it's not really a cameo Yoda,
Mhm.
but at least he does something, but he's not really there all that much. I'm thinking
Yeah.
something like that. Like get a new crew together, make it fucking whoever. Margot Robbie and Io Edibari. I don't care who you pick. Just your new cast. I almost like it that they get shanghaied into doing some bullshit mission and they're about to teeter off the edge. And then Will brings them back. He's like, "You're not ready." And, it's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
It's cool to see the Dutchman. He gets to be the hero. It sticks to all this stuff, but then he can kind of set him back on course. And like, let's just say they get stranded, they have nowhere to go, and then he can set them back on the right course and be like, "You need me, call me." Something of that nature.
Here's I guess here's the real question. Three options. Do you would you rather see a complete reboot? Would you rather see them do a semi continuation, like kind of,
Jurassic
you
World?
know,
Are we talking
yeah,
Jurassic World?
like a soft reboot, or would you rather just see the franchise die? Of those three, which one would you choose?
Of the three, right now I'm of Let It Go.
That's what I always am, and that's what I am now.
I
I'm
just
always
the
for
thing
that
is this
option.
is if this was after if let's just say on Stranger Tides, I'll even give him on Stranger Tides. Let's say the fifth one never comes out. I would be
Okay,
okay
so would I.
with a soft reboot or a hard reboot.
You know why though? Because that came out in 2011, so it's like that's at least had a sizable gap.
Yeah.
But because that fifth one's in the middle there, it's just like,
And also, the fifth one is garbage.
oh yeah, I saw it once in the theater, and I remember it just being awful.
I
I mean,
remember
I fucking own it. Don't get me wrong, but I have not watched it
you
since.
own everything. You buy everything though. That's not.
Exactly. It's more the completionist in me than anything else because
I
I
know.
still have not watched it since the theater.
Right. Yeah. I'm just. If you said you have to make a call right now, let it go.
I would say give it another five,
I say
10 years.
I give it 10 years. Get away from. I think we're getting closer and closer to the end of the superhero era, or, and when I say that, I don't mean superhero movies are going to end, but
Mhm.
we are now seeing clearly in the box office, unless it is the big event, superhero movies are not what they used to be the
Yeah,
last
there's
10 years.
finally superhero fatigue.
Where Deadpool and Wolverine can be the number one or number two hit of the year, but that's because it's an event that has been waited for 25 years in
Yeah,
some ways.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's
it's
true.
and it's Deadpool's arrival into this thing that's had cachet for the last 15 years. But All the MCU movies post outside of Spider-Man No Way Home, none of them made a true impact like
Yeah.
they would have 5 years prior.
Well, that's the thing about the Pirates franchise is if they redo a sixth one, I don't think it's going to do well just because people are not interested.
Yeah.
Like, I if they let it die for a while, I think then it's like, okay, cool, they're making a new one. But also, they're gonna do Jack Sparrow. They're gonna do the same characters where it's like, no, just make new stuff.
Well, we're looking at it right now. We are 8 years removed from that last movie. And in some ways, that's way longer than we think it is. Because we're in a completely different world. But also, up here, everything's a lot closer than it used to be.
Exactly.
Like, I just saw the video the other day. We are closer to 2050 than we are to the year 2000. And, like, I'm prepared for that because I'm an old man that's always ready to look forward. But the vast majority of our generation still thinks that we're really close to 2000 and we're light years away from 2050, and that ain't the case.
Yeah. I think our generation is going to be eternally. 2000 was like 13 years ago.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that's probably a common thought in every generation.
Yes. No, I mean,
but
look at all of our parents that thought, oh, how could that be 50 years ago? And you're like, it's been 50 years.
Really what I would love to see them do is let it die. And then once our generation, the millennials start like getting, in places of power at these big companies, then reboot it with the love that they have for the franchise.
This goes back to a couple shows ago. Say what you will about Jurassic World, because we both had more positive thoughts than we did originally. Go with that energy. Show some love to the franchise, but do something at least somewhat different. I'm not saying Jurassic World is a perfect example of that, but I think it's a good star to guide your ship to. Okay.
Sure.
Let's keep some of the fun. Let's get towards it, but let's do something new.
I would say more Force Awakens.
I'll take Force Awakens. I think they're both of similar quality. And of the two, I think I prefer Jurassic World to Force Awakens. So.
Oh, really? I mean, in terms of... I don't want to see the same characters again, like in Force Awakens, where like Leia, Han, and Luke are in it. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, Luke was in that movie. Sure.
Yeah, for 12 seconds maybe.
Yeah, Luke was in that movie. Sure.
Well, I mean, they mention his name like 50 million times.
I mean, Luke is the MacGuffin. I understand, but god damn. For people that have been waiting 30 plus years for Luke Skywalker, and he's in the movie for 12 seconds, and you're like, I remember leaving the theater being like, that was really fun. What the fuck?
What I don't want to see is them cart out Johnny Depp on a wheelchair and he's still sword fighting. Or, I mean, technically, his CG double is sword fighting.
I think if they're gonna do it, what works is do what they did with Keith Richards as his dad in the two movies that Keith Richards appears in. Yeah. Let him have a little impact. Like, you say what you want. Captain Teague's cool in both appearances that he's in. Let him do that.
I'd be alright with that because it's like a one scene cameo where it's not a true cameo where it's like 2 seconds. Yeah. But like an actual scene. That'd be cool.
I love the idea of him finally just like eating it. And all of a sudden he's on the Dutchman and you're like, yo, the boys are back. What's up?
Yeah. Like a one scene with Will. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it makes sense in the terms of the lore. But also it's, giving some fan service.
Have him be the strategist. And all of a sudden you can understand why Jack Sparrow is Jack Sparrow. And you're like, huh?
Real quick, what would you rate the original 3? Like out of 10?
I'm going to go... because you're a harsher critic than I am. I'm going to say Curse of the Black Pearl is an 8 out of 10. I'll go Dead Man's Chest by itself, 7. At World's End, I'll give a nice 6 to. And I think I'm being kind, but I'll give it a 6. I think it's an above-average movie that I like, but it's not that good.
I think because I like the franchise as a whole more than you probably, I'd go Curse of the Black Pearl 8.5. I just love that movie, obviously.
Yes, you do.
This one I'd give like a 7.5.
Sure.
And then I can't give At World's End a 6 simply because they make so many bonkers choices that I'm like, it's at least a 6.5. Like,
I think it's an
at least
above
they're
like
going
to
for it.
me. I just look at it this way: average is in the middle, right? So above average is a 6 because it's the top of
Um,
average.
to me, 6 is average, where it's like, what I always say is like, if my only thing about the movie was it was a movie, then it gets a 6. Because it's just like, straight down the middle. It's not bad. It's not good.
We'll have to flesh this out for another episode, especially when we were talking about doing a Hall of Fame episode and all kinds of other stuff. But a perfect example for those that are watching on our channel who watched my Jurassic World Rebirth review, when I actually think about that movie, it's as mid as it gets. But because I'm negative about it, I say it's a 5 and not a 6. Where most movies, I can at least be meh or it was fine. And it's a positive, it was a fine. Where that one, it's a negative, it's fine. So I'd say it's a 5. Where
I'd agree.
a 6 is a 6 is above average, it's fine. Like when you go home and there's a meal that you and your partner eat a lot, and it's fine and it always does the trick and you're never like upset about it, but you're kind of like, yeah, it's there, we did it.
hmm
That's a 6 to me. That's like a okay.
Yeah. A 6 is like a bowl of Lucky Charms, and then like a seven's like, oh, cinnamon toast crunch, nice. Like, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
also, one other note that we can end it. We don't have to talk about this.
Yeah.
It is very strange that Gore Verbinski hasn't worked since whenever A Cure for Wellness came out. So
Huh.
like 2015-ish,
What's
2016.
is he just running on royalties? What the fuck's he doing?
I don't know. He just literally has not directed anything since then,
Has he done
which is
anything
so
else?
weird.
Has he been a producer on anything? Has he done Wait, hold on.
Let me
Was
look.
he involved in Was he involved in The Lone Ranger?
Um,
Because
pretty
that is
yeah,
a
he
huge.
directed that,
There's your
but
answer.
oh no
There is
no
your
here.
answer.
Well, I don't think that
I'm not inherently saying it's all
killed
his
his
fault,
career.
but look at all the things that happened. Look how many careers ended or never happened because of that movie. The Lone
Yeah, that's
Ranger is
true.
treated as Disney's greatest failure. Everything that could go
Which I
wrong on
don't
them,
agree with.
I don't agree with either. I think The Lone Ranger is a 4 out of 10 passable movie.
I think The Lone Ranger is better than Pirates 5.
I agree with that. I think that's accurate. I don't
Yeah.
think that's saying much, but I think it's accurate.
Yeah, A Cure for Wellness was 2016. So he hasn't worked in 9 years.
And he clearly knows how
Although,
to do these things. It's not like he doesn't know
although
how to do big spectacle.
on IMDb, he does have one movie in post production that he directed.
There we go, Gore. Good for you, buddy.
So
Good for you. We're
yeah,
rooting for you. We're rooting for you.
I really like him as a director.
I think he knows what he's doing. I think he knows how to
Yeah,
make a fun blockbuster film.
I think his vision is very strong. Whether or not you like it, that's a different question. But
The funny
yeah,
part is I think he knows how to make fun movies that are crowd pleasers. So just do that
hmm
and you'll be
hmm
fine.
he would have been a perfect choice for the MCU, where it's just like, hey, just make a movie, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Just make it fun.
They're
We don't care. Just make it fun.
they're all gonna be 6 out of 10s. It's fine.
You get an occasional 7 in there. It's
Yeah, you get a 1-9 with Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's it.
I mean, I'll fight.
That's to me.
I'll fight for Winter Soldier is a very good movie any day of the week as
Yeah.
well. So, but that's it. So, I mean, we went clearly long on an episode that I said I wanted to go short on. So, I think I have to change the viewing time that I'm going to Superman tonight. I'm buying a ticket to that goddamn movie. I know I'm going. So, but that has been this show. Was this worth the box office? Dead Man's Chest.
I think so.
And was
I
it
think
worth
it
the
deserved-
rewatch for you?
Yes, I would say that as well.
I think both are accurate. I don't think it was worth as much box office as it got, but that's just what box office was at the
I,
time.
I I would say simply because the first one is so good.
Yeah, but I think it's very understandable why
All
it
right.
made as much money, and it was worthwhile for a rewatch. And I will say this: separate them as much mentally as possible, and take notes on just 2, and then watch 3, and you'll. Because the amount of people I know, and I was one of them, who was like, no, at World's End is way better. And then I went and was like, no. Dead Man's Chest is way better. I just like some of the stuff that happens at World's End because I've already accepted some of the lunacy that happens in the two of them together.
Yeah, it's definitely a descending scale. Real quick, let's pick our random number generator from Google.
Let's go.
So we got 1991, which I believe is T2.
Oh, that's T2?
Let me make sure here.
Please say it's T2. Please say it's T2.
It is T2 Judgment Day.
Yes. I think that's a perfect movie because I don't think it's as perfect as many people make it out to be, but it's still a hell of a good movie, and it's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie. I look forward to reviewing that. It's been a while since I've seen it as well, so.
Hell yeah. I think it's been a couple of years since I've watched T2, so. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to talk about the lunacy that is James Cameron at any time, because that guy's out of his fucking mind. So.
Yeah. I'll stand up for him a bit, but that's it.
It's hard to stand up for modern James Cameron. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, true. All right, that has been the show, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening wherever you are. We hope you enjoyed your holiday weekend previous to this, and you're enjoying your summer as much as you can. There are a lot of great movies in the cinema. The cinema needs to exist. Go watch them. I don't know about Superman yet personally, but it's been getting good reviews. I think F1's a lot of fun. I think Phoenician Scheme's still very much worth your time and money. There's a lot of different stuff that's out there. It's cool. 28 years later is still awesome. Just skip Jurassic World Rebirth and you'll have a happy time at the summer movies. Go to the cinema, support your local theater, and have yourself a great time. Go watch a great movie. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Goodbye!